welcome to the podcast. I'm Marisa.
I'm Ariana.
And we're the Krolmeister sisters. You sounded so unsure about that.
Well, because now I'm not sure that... I felt like chewed isn't the right past tense of chew. I know, but it feels like it should be chawed or something like that, you know?
And we're the Krolmeister sisters. As a reminder, this podcast is rated T for teen for strong language and mature themes.
If you can't handle our mature themes of trying to figure out what the past tense of chew is, well then, get out of here, man. You can, maybe listen to Tammy Tucky's podcast, Unlocked, where she talks to people about things sometimes. I don't know how that's going during quarantine.
I haven't seen a new Unlocked episode in a while, to be real. But, I don't know.
When your podcast involves interviewing people, and I don't know.
But it's just over Skype.
It is over Skype. It is over Skype. I was just thinking about that. And
I just don't know if...
The Community Cast has a podcast where they interview each other, every day. I don't know. Anyway.
Yeah.
This is our podcast.
Yeah. So I'm going to start with talking about what we're talking about today, though.
Okay.
So, for literal years, people have been asking us to talk about this, but most notably, Abigail, one of our patrons, asked in January if we could talk about the different timelines in the games. Because Ariana's mentioned this before, that she has this multiverse theory that some of the games are in some timelines and some of them are in different timelines.
Yes.
So, we're going to talk about that. I made a whole fucking spreadsheet, which I will link in the description of the podcast and on YouTube, because it is intense.
See, you broke it down into, reoccurring characters, whereas when I was trying to do it, and as we may remember, I had a whole, because I didn't do it on a spreadsheet on a fucking computer. No. I had graph paper, and that's how I was doing it. Because I was doing it so that it was literally anything that connects.
Yeah, so I ruled that brands don't matter, because the Krolmeister brand itself can exist in any of these timelines.
It just permeates through the timelines.
Exactly. Coco Kringle is a constant, right? We're not going to be like every game with Coco Kringle is in the same timeline. So I went with recurring characters. And I specifically have left out our main Clue crew members. So George, Bess, Ned, that's his name, Carson, and the Hardy Boys don't count.
Unavoidable. Always going to happen.
Exactly. So, because they are just throughout the entire series, we're not doing it. So, I have come up with, and I named the timelines after people. So, we have the Sunny Prue Hotchkiss timeline. Because this timeline...
That's the biggest timeline.
It is the biggest timeline. It is the timeline that has the most games in it. It's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10 of the games. A third of the games in this series are in this timeline. Because we know that they're all in the same timeline because these three characters all show up in the same games. Not all three are present in every single time, but they interact. They are in different games. So the Sunny Prue Hotchkiss timeline is Treasure Royal Tower, Secret of the Scarlet Hand. Why did I put down... Oh.
Haunted Carousel?
So, there are reasons. Haunted Carousel, Danger on Deception Island, Danger by Design, Legend of the Crystal Skull. Uh-oh.
Well, no, continue.
Legend of the Crystal Skull, Phantom of Venice, Tomb of the Lost Queen, Shattered Medallion, Sea of Darkness, but only the bonus edition. What did you about?
Well, I was just thinking that Mr. Horse designer in
Kessler,
yeah, is brought up in Icicle Creek.
True. So the reason I included Haunted Carousel in this one, which was tentative at best. I think you're right that one deserves to go down to the Tino Charlena timeline. So I'm going to move that. The reason I originally had it there was that in Danger on Deception Island, we have, in Nancy's luggage, we have stuff from the amusement park, and we also have stuff from
Beach Hill.
Secret of the Scarlet Hand. Yeah, Beach Hill. Thank you. I couldn't remember the name, so. But that was my why, I thought.
I'm sorry. See, this is why I didn't want to do this.
I don't have a keyboard.
Oh, right
near me. So it's being difficult.
Sorry, I would have done that if I'd thought about it.
I will take Haunted Carousel out of that timeline. We have a couple contentious games, so that one's less contentious than the others. I don't care. So in these games, you're wondering why Hotchkiss gets involved is because Tomb of the Lost Queen. So our Hotchkiss games are Treasure Royal Tower, Legend of the Crystal Skull, and Tomb of the Lost Queen. Mm-hmm. So she's in Tomb of the Lost Queen, and we also have references to Sunny June in Tomb of the Lost Queen. Mm-hmm. So that's how we connect these two timelines. Same with, we know that it's a Prudence Rutherford thing as well, because Secret of the Scarlet Hand and Danger by Design have both Prudence Rutherford and Sunny June in them.
Yes.
So, that's the Sunny Prue Hotchkiss timeline.
It's the history heavy timeline, really, because
it really is.
These are all the ones that like really deal with, well, except for Phantom of Venice, but
yeah,
what happens in that game?
I will say that some of these we will talk about ones that are like you might be thinking right now. Well, but this one is obviously going to be in this time. Wait for it. We will talk about it. I promise. So then we have the Tino Balducci, Charlene Purcell timeline.
The Tino Lena timeline, if you will.
Yeah, the Tino Lena.
Tino Lena.
Tino Lena. Which is Secret of Shadow Ranch, Last Train to Blue Moon Canyon, White Wolf of Icicle Creek, and The Haunted Carousel. I think I'm going to agree that one belongs in Tino Lena because of Bill Kessler.
Yes. Yeah.
That's a reference. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we referenced the past game and everything, which I think is more concrete than just having stuff in her luggage.
Yeah.
That one is a pretty short-lived timeline, but it still exists.
It's also a pretty frustrating timeline, purely because Tino's in it.
He exists. It's awful.
It's terrible.
Then we have our PG Krolmeister and Savannah Woodham timeline. So that one includes...
The weird line.
It's very weird. So that one includes Trail of the Twister, Shadow at Water's Edge, Ghost of Thornton Hall, and The Silent Spy. It might also be Creature of Kapu Cave. There's still some contention there. I place it in Creature of Kapu Cave. I mean, I place Creature of Kapu Cave in the PG Savannah timeline.
Yes.
We have a Deirdre timeline, which is Alibi and Ashes, The Deadly Device, and Midnight in Salem. The Deirdre timeline is removed from the rest of the games, in my opinion.
We decided that it's because Deirdre is an interdimensional being, and she disrupts the flow of time.
Yeah.
And that's why Midnight in Salem is fucked up.
Yeah. There is also the Eustacia Brady timeline, which is not Stay Tuned for Danger. I apologize. It was originally in that timeline, but it is Final Scene, Ghost Dogs of Moon Lake, and Curse of Blackmore Manor. Final Scene and Curse of Blackmore Manor and Dog all have references to Brady Armstrong. And Eustacia is also referenced. We talked to her in 2 of those games, and she's referenced in Curse of Blackmore Manor.
That is fantastic.
They are very intertwined.
That is a solid fucking timeline right there.
It is. And then we have some games that aren't on a timeline at all. They are standalone. So we have Secret of the Old Clock, which is like self-explanatory as to how that's on its own timeline. It takes place in 1930. It's not going to be intertwined with anything else.
Fuck that game.
Oh, I totally
You
skipped
did, but
Dwayne's
I didn't.
timeline.
Yeah.
The Dwayne timeline of Stay Tuned for Danger, Ransom of the Seven Ships, and maybe a little bit of Warnings of Waverly Academy. That one's, again, contentious. Because there's a picture of her, there's a picture of Bess and George from Ransom of the Seven Ships in her dorm.
Okay. That's right, huh?
So,
okay.
Yeah. So I would say that that's part of the Dwayne timeline. However, we mark the Dwayne timeline not canon.
It's not. It's a fever dream.
It is. So we just talked about why Secret of the Old Clock isn't on in any of the timelines. Message in a Haunted Mansion technically refers to Rick Arland, but Arlen. But we decided that he's just a celebrity, so he's much like a brand and can just be in other timelines.
He's just a celebrity in all timelines, and so he got into Nancy's dream when she was having that fever dream about Dwayne. I'm gonna wear blackface powers.
Okay, wait.
Whoa.
Question.
Yes.
There's a game in which Bess and George reference Message in a Haunted Mansion. Can you remember it?
It's probably the one right after it, because at that point they do have a moment of like, oh man, you did this, and then you did this, and now you're doing this.
Okay, so it's Treasure in a Royal Tower. So Message in a Haunted Mansion, I think, is in the Hotchkiss Sonny Prue timeline.
That would make sense, because it goes into the history timeline.
What? It does. Okay, I think Message in a Haunted Mansion, I'm going to put that into that timeline. I'm removing it from this section. Labyrinth of Lies is an interesting game because it's definitely not in the Sunny timeline, because if it was in the same timeline as Secret of the Scarlet Hand, then she would know what the fuck Provenance was.
Yeah, she has to learn that over again. What up with that, y'all?
Because it's a different timeline.
Yep.
However, it might fall into a timeline. I'm going to discuss the intricacies of that in a little bit.
Okay.
Haunting of Castle Malloy, I could not find anything to put it in.
Well, clearly it happens in a very strange timeline where a lot of things are unknown about World War II, and nobody seems to recognize that there was some kind of civil war with the Irish and the and the English. So, you know.
Mm-hmm. Pretty much. So, I don't know. Haunting of Castle Malloy is a mystery.
It's the lost timeline.
It's the lost timeline. If you can figure out how to connect it with other timelines, please tell us. We don't fucking know. That game, I enjoy that game, but at the same time, it's not like I really like it, though. It doesn't really make sense. And since when did she have... Why does Kyler... What?
Why does Kyler...
Why does Kyler have Nancy come be her maid of honor?
Because apparently she doesn't have any friends.
It's like, and then suddenly, question.
Yes.
The party that Bess and George and Ned are at, do they reference Deirdre?
No, there's some other girl who's following Ned around, but Deirdre's never mentioned.
Okay. Gotcha. I was just wondering for a second there.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, I have some timeline, some games that are contentious. So, I have the issue of Samantha Quick / Zoe Wolf. So, Samantha Quick is in both Phantom of Venice, which is a Sunny timeline, and she's also in Silent Spy, which is PG Savannah. The thing I think about that is that Phantom of Venice is in a mixed timeline. Because the same thing happens in Phantom of Venice, they mention the Healy. Just on the rooftop, that flower, Margarita. That's her name, right?
Yeah.
I don't fucking remember. I hate that bitch. I talk to her as little as possible. But she says that she got the plant from the Healy. Healy is also referenced again in Trail of the Twister. So, since Phantom of Venice has two of these things that are like mixed timelines, I say that Phantom of Venice is some kind of weird, like, liminal space between the timelines.
I think Samantha
it makes no
Quick,
sense anyway.
Here's what it is. Samantha Quick, much like Nancy, is a dimension hopper. So that's why there's just they just kind of they string certain things along accidentally. They create inconsistencies in the timelines they visit. Hence, suddenly there being a timeline where it's 1930.
Exactly.
Come on.
So I agree with this, and that's why in Phantom of Venice she's voiced by Lottie Minella.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So here's another thing where I'm wondering. Is the Deirdre timeline an offshoot of the PG Savannah timeline? So the reason I say this is because of Yovik tech and technology of tomorrow. Mm-hmm. So in The Deadly Device, you are solving the murder of Nico Yovik, right? And you are at Technology of Tomorrow today. That's where Nico was working. In Ghost of Thornton Hall, which has Savannah in it, we have Yovik tech stuff. So our Yovik tech stuff is a brand name, so I'm not sure we can get away with that, right? That can just be... That's also a Labyrinth of Lies. Just interesting.
I mean, I can see things just existing, like just...
Exactly.
Like,
the Yovik tech thing, that can just be... It's a brand.
yeah, exactly.
However, the thing that actually makes me wonder if they are the same timeline is Technology of Tomorrow today is where we are in Deadly Device. Mm-hmm. The name of the expo that George is at in Shadow Water's Edge is Technology of Tomorrow Expo. Okay, that could just be a coincidence, right? However, in Ghost of Thornton Hall, which also has Savannah in it, we find out that George has gotten an internship at Technology of Tomorrow today. Mm-hmm. So, is that enough evidence to show that the Deirdre timeline and the PG Savannah timeline are the same timeline?
Maybe, but again,
yeah, see?
It's like, I mean, it just goes into my PG Krolmeister fan theories database, because freaking I got all kinds of shit on him. So the idea that he's somehow connected and scouting out talented people for in each timeline, that tracks for me.
Yeah. The other thing, the next one, that actually just got mentioned in the chat, that was next on my list anyway, is Captive Curse. You might have noticed that I didn't say Captive Curse in any of the timelines. That's because we have some difficulties here, right? Because Captive Curse, we see Sunny June's resume. Mm-hmm. So we could place this in Sunny June, but they also reference Technology of Tomorrow today. Mm-hmm. As well as she's on her way back from Shadow at the Water's Edge. So she's literally mentions to Ned that on her way back from Japan, she stopped in Germany. Which is the wrong way to go around. That's the long way, Nancy.
Nobody goes that way.
You don't go... Like, that's just like... That's ridiculous. But she stops in at Germany on her way home from Japan, and that's mentioned. So, Captive Curse, much like Phantom of Venice to me, is then... It literally takes place in her going from one place to another. So, is she traveling from one timeline to another? In the Captive Curse. Because Captive Curse, she's going from PG, and she ends up in Deirdre in Alibi and Ashes. That sounded so wrong. She ends up in the Deirdre timeline in Alibi and Ashes.
She's just like deep in Deirdre.
Stop. So what I'm saying is that Captive Curse takes place on her hopping from one timeline to another, and Sunny June just happens to be in that middle place.
Yeah.
Right?
I can see a case being made. You know, again, he seems like a dimension hopper too. I'm just saying.
That is an issue with the Sunny stuff.
Yeah.
However, that's why I don't take Sunny's reference in, like, Sea of Darkness as, like, Sea of Darkness as being specifically in that timeline. Sea of Darkness doesn't really have any other hooks to timelines.
Yeah.
It's
and
just
honestly,
like Labyrinth of Lies.
Where
it's
Sunny,
just like...
I have a problem with that Sunny reference.
Because it's only in the bonus edition anyway.
Why did he do that?
Why did he go to Iceland, draw a whole comic of him and Robot Nancy, which just goes to show that our Robot Nancy theory is correct, at least in some timelines. Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm out of drink, so that was... I'm out of water, so I couldn't sip dramatically. But I agree. It's like, he just draws a comic and then leaves it for her to find? But it's just...
For some reason?
It's literally just in the bonus edition, so it doesn't matter. It's also referenced in Sea of Darkness that Sunny used to work there. But yeah, I just don't know. That's why I have Sea of Darkness in the Sunny timeline. I just think it's kind of like, it's barely there. Like, oh shit, Ransom of the Seven Ships is also technically a Sunny timeline. Again, it's not canon. Blaine's in it, so it's not canon.
It just didn't actually happen. Again, she'd been dealing with Sunny references for years, so like she was like, okay, that made it in her little fever dream. That's all.
Exactly.
Because why would Sunny be working with monkeys? That has nothing to do with the Anunnaki.
You don't know.
I do know.
In our fan fiction from 2011, it does. And
he was learning some stuff from the monkeys there.
He was. Is he teaching them, or are they teaching him?
Of course, our Sunny also was the way he was because he grew up downstream from the Cocoa Kringles plant.
He sure did.
He sure did.
In apparently Oklahoma, I think.
Yeah, I think that's what we decided. Yeah.
I don't know what we were on about. We were very, very tired. It was like 4 a.m.
We were tired. We were drinking tequila. That's all it really takes.
Pretty much. I remember the very first line of that, which is, sometimes you feel like a nut, sometimes you feel like a Cocoa Kringle. Today I feel like a Cocoa Kringle. So that tells you our beautiful...
Are there any references to Cocoa Kringles in fucking Shattered Medallion?
No.
We don't find any in his tent?
I don't think so.
That's fucked up, guys.
It's real fucked up.
That's how you can really tell that they didn't actually know Sunny when the people who wrote that game. The people who made that game.
I have a question.
Yes.
Is that really Sunny in that game? I'm going to keep Shattered Medallion in that timeline because Jamila is in that game, and Jamila is also in Tomb of the Lost Queen, and Hotchkiss is in Tomb of the Lost Queen, so we're there. However, is that the same Sunny? Or is Sunny many different people?
Sunny's just a concept, really.
Sunny is he is a universal constant.
He is.
Maybe.
He's what keeps the timelines from shattering. Somehow. Don't know why.
Unlike the Shattered Medallion. Yeah. So
into the Sunnyverse, yes. And also, yeah, I do see that he does have apparently a Dread, the Dread Island.
The Dread Island sign in his luggage.
Yeah.
That just proves that he's also going from dimension to dimension.
Yeah, yeah.
I honestly
Even
think
for fever dreams?
this just, even through fever dreams. I mean, Nancy goes through fever dreams.
Oh, and also they reference
Maybe they're not fever dreams. Maybe.
Dread Island in Captive Curse. So I think maybe Captive Curse and Ransom of the Seven Ships are in that falling apart timeline.
I agree. They are in, so Captive Curse.
They're way
Phantom of
stations
Venice.
between timelines.
Yeah, Captive Curse, Phantom of Venice, and Ransom of the Seven Ships are all in just
The worst timeline.
they are in 2020. They happen in between realities.
Mm-hmm.
They don't actually fall in any of the timelines.
Yes.
So I think, especially since we got Samantha Quick and Sunny June are both like, they're both obviously like, there's something about them.
Yeah.
Especially since, like, why else would we meet Samantha Quick again? Like, that doesn't really make sense in the grand scheme of things.
It doesn't.
Oh, and if you
also-
might be asking me, why is the Silent Spy in the PG Krolmeister Savannah timeline? Because they do reference Logan, Savannah's assistant.
Yes.
That he was actually a spy for Cathedral.
Yes.
So,
Oh, Logan.
that's how it fits in to that timeline.
Why do you think Simone comes up with the name Samantha Quick?
I like the theory that someone floated out is that Simone is actually
A cathedral
testing
operative?
Nancy.
Oh.
Yeah, she's a cathedral operative testing Nancy. But I just think that Samantha Quick is an interdimensional being, and that's why she was on their brain.
She just incepted him.
Yeah.
I can dig it.
It's also referenced, they're saying that Sonny in his trunk has a Carnivale poster.
Well, I mean,
From,
fair.
like, specifically from Phantom of Venice. And Sonny wasn't in Phantom of Venice. Prudence was, though.
Mm-hmm.
So that just goes to show how intertwined Prudence and Sonny are, in my opinion.
is Prudence just Sunny putting on a voice?
Oh my god, she is. Prudence Rutherford is just Sunny June putting on an old lady voice.
Oh no, not my dog, my husband!
Ariana, you just blew my mind. It all fits.
It all makes sense now.
It's true. Amazing.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, we totally figured it out. This feels definitive, sure.
Yeah, definitely. We got this. All of this is true and scientific. I should know. I made it into a spreadsheet.
Yeah, if it's a spreadsheet, it's facts.
Yeah. It's true. That's why they always want you to know. Oh, you say secrets can kill doesn't count.
Oh, no, yeah.
It's not real. Especially, however, Secrets Can Kill Remastered is the center of everything.
Yeah.
Because in Secrets Can Kill Remastered, there are so many things. Secrets Can Kill Remastered is like, that's the reality that Nancy's bedroom is in the beginning of games.
Because that's where all of the references are. All
Yeah.
of them.
Yeah. Her bedroom in Alibi and Ashes is also in that universe. It just, you can't tell. But that's why there is so much stuff from every single game in her room.
It's the
That's
collector
not anywhere
universe.
else. It is. So, they're separate. Secrets Can Kill itself is not on a timeline. It's just out there. It's doing its thing.
It's just sitting there.
I mean,
And
no one
Eloise
can find it.
is only
so-
mentioned in that fucking
Yep, it's true. And then in Secrets Can Kill Remastered, that's just the hub.
Yeah.
It's just the hub. It's the hub universe. That's what I'm going to call it.
The Hubiverse.
The Hubiverse. And that's where she has to go through for each game. However... Okay, sister. So, in every single game, she has to go through this hub before she can get to another timeline. That is why we have, like, the weirdness that is, like, Captive Curse, because she's, like, trying to avoid the hub, but she still has to go through these, you know, mixed timelines.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So very uncomfortable for her to be in, you know?
Yeah, I know. She has fights with her boyfriend constantly in it.
It's true. That's how she loses track of time so badly that she just misses their date by several days.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's our explanation of the Nancy Drew timelines. I will let you guys see this spreadsheet in the notes when the podcast is out, wherever it is out, wherever you're listening to it. Yeah. You should find a link to it. I will try to make it make sense. It probably doesn't, but you know, it's fine. But yeah, if you would like to tell us what you think, that would be awesome. Please tell us on our Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. No, not our Tumblr. We don't look at that anymore. Don't go there. YouTube, Twitch, and our fancy website, krolmeistersisters.knifefightclub.com.
You can also find us on Google Podcast, Apple Podcast, and Spotify. And you can leave us reviews there, maybe, if you want. I mean, do it. See if we notice.
Yeah, just try.
like take bets on how long it'll take us to figure out that you did it.
Yeah.
Great way to pass the time.
You can subscribe to us on Twitch to get access to our cute little wine glass emote, as well as our Scopa emote, so that you can... I think it's celebratory. That's what we've been using it as. Scopa!
Hey!
As well as Podcast Night VODs. Or you can support us on Patreon with an N, at patreon.com/KrolmeisterSisters. To get access to Podcast Night VODs, as well as stream cat pictures, and you can also suggest things for us to talk about. So, as a reminder, I'm Marisa.
Mariana.
And we're the Krolmeister Sisters, and we're asking you guys to stay sleuthy.